I'm Larita Buckley. These are a lot of immediate concerns. I don't have an immediate concern, but I'm wondering if there are discussions going on between the county, the state, for long term. If we're kind of in limbo, our house is still standing, it's inaccessible, is there some plan for what's gonna happen if this goes on for a year or 2 years? Have you discussed it, and can you share some thoughts?
I think we shared that for quite a while, but working with all the different agencies and at the different levels, they're discussing all the options. There's some that are, I guess more complicated than others, but it seems like they are all complicated. It's not everybody's got different situations, and so, whether it's creating a new subdivision or, land swap, condemnation, everything's on the board.
After how much time?
A year, 6 months, 2 years?
No, can I speak to that?
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. We have to move forward, and I've kind of shifted gears myself from emergency response to recovery. And our state representatives, Joyce and Buenaventura and Senator Ruderman, and I have been meeting with a whole other group of people, agencies, faith-based organizations, and the real estate industry. All kinds of different people are at this table to come up with a plan for the future for housing. We're doing, the short-term housing issues are being addressed, which is great. Not fast enough, of course, but at a speed that I've never seen happen in Hawaii before. Thank you, Gilbert Aguinaldo. But that's being addressed, but we're looking at the solutions for the long term. And one thing I did as county council was I wrote a resolution that passed, I think last month, requesting a special session of the state legislature. As you may or may not know, they only meet from January through the 1st of May, and we need help now. But we need a plan that they can sink their teeth into in order to perhaps give us money, give us land, because some of the proposals that are coming up involve use of state land. There's a lot of DLNR, not Hawaiian Homelands, but DLNR is Department of Land and Natural Resources. There's a lot of large ag lake acreage between HPP and Hawaiian beaches. That's being looked at. There's also been, I know our senator has had meetings with Shipman to look at some of the land they hold. They hold most of the land on the other side of HPP towards KL in terms of what can be done there. The mayor's been having meetings with them as well. So it's not decided, it's in discussion, but we're hoping that a plan will be formulated within the next month. Somebody was asking for a timeline, so that we can call that special session to play by September, say, and see what the response is.
Thanks very much, sir. I was curious about that piece of land between Pine Beaches and Zulu. Is that area part of the unexploded ordinance area? Like, do you see a range?
Yeah. Do you know that?
There is a.
I'm just curious because that property, that area had been suggested. I'm just curious if that's the same exact area.
There is a FUDS area there, formerly used defense site.
Right.
And, about it, maybe you don't know, but Waikoloa, all Maunalani, all those areas are FUDS areas too. They clean them out. So, if we're going to occupy a formerly used site, they're going to have to spend the money on that from that program to clear it before anybody's going to go in there safe. But it is in that proximity to that area.
Most of that unfortunately, is in the DHHL portion of that property. There may be a little spillover into the DLNR properties, and of course, it would have to be fully assessed, like he said.
Just to take my prerogative, I just want to inform you that when we met last week, the strong consensus of Leilani residents was not to get involved in the land swap deal. That's how.
Wait.
I think that was no, it wasn't to get involved with the land swap deal. That was a leasehold for 65 years and half of an acre.
Oh, okay.
That's what we were
Yes.
interested in.
Right. So I just
I'll go
want
for an acre. Yeah.
people have not, everyone wants to speak, that's one at a time, go ahead, Mike.
The number of people that you mentioned who are involved in all these decisions, I didn't hear homeowners, and so I would like to know the possibility of homeowner representation at these meetings, because having things decided for me is not my preference, but I'd like to have at least some communication directly with, I don't know, half a dozen or a dozen homeowners who can then relay this information directly to those who are going to make decisions. Is that fair?
That's absolutely fair. I don't think we're even that far along. I'd like to have some options out there that we can lay on the table and then get the feedback from the homeowners, because we're not even to that point yet, but we're getting there.
It may be homeowners that could help to prompt some of those ideas.
Absolutely.
I would recommend, after years of working in corporations, to get creative ideas up front before they get presented, because then it's a group of things that has already been talked about. I'd like to be involved in that before that happens.
Well, thank you, and I agree that that's a good idea. That was one of the reasons for the town hall on June 30 was to start hearing the ideas from the public, and we got a lot. My aide has transcribed all of the questions and comments from that meeting. We're going to be putting it out shortly.
I'm Pamela. I know that I'm not alone here. A lot of us worked really hard to find this home, make it our dream home, live here, own it right out, acre for dollar. We own our home, and we don't have an income now to do an SBA loan. We're on a fixed income. We don't have, I'm debt free. I don't want to go back into debt with an SBA loan. If that's all that is offered, I mean, it's just, that's why we need to move forward. I mean, like he's saying, I mean, there's a lot of us in this group that I think are in that same boat.
Thank you. Who has not yet raised a question?
I just want to speak to Kayala Noel. You said we have to go get a reassessment on an individual basis with FEMA. Red Cross flatly denies any voluntary removal people. We don't get anything. They just say you're voluntary. We don't got you. We don't got nothing for you. And that's because we're listed voluntary, yet we were mandatory at 3:30 in the morning to get out of our places. I'm building my place. I have no walls. I have asthma. I live in my van. I get no help. Please, what can we do with Red Cross?
Well, have you tried FEMA?
I've tried FEMA. I'm voluntary. I get no SCA because I'm under. I don't qualify for a loan.
Your place is in Leilani.
My place is in Leilani. I'm building. I'm in the process of getting a permit, which is on hold. Okay, so I'm stuck. Red Cross says you're voluntary, cannot help you, cannot give you housing, cannot give you anything. Red Cross, because of the terminology you're using, leaves us out in the cold. We don't get anything.
Did you get a FEMA assessment?
I got a FEMA assessment on this. They're coming back for the second one, and he couldn't come in because of the air quality.
Okay, thank you. Do you want to add anything else? Do you want to add anything else?
Well, you said it right there. Because of the air quality, that house is inaccessible. And so they need to look at it that way and make that ruling.
But they're not.
No. Now Red Cross is telling me no, no because I'm voluntary. That word there says no. No, no, no.
It's voluntary, but the gases are making it too dangerous for them. I'm sorry.
Okay. What I would like to do is for next week is actually to get a representative from FEMA here and a representative from Red Cross here. I will work to do that. So if we have questions more about that they could answer, it would be great. I know you want to ask it about.
Robert, can I just intervene there? I did ask if FEMA could come, and they're unable to come to a citizen meeting. Unable to come. If it's a county called hosted meeting, then I can have them there to answer questions. So what they suggested doing was for us to write down questions like, is it Noel? Kayala Noel just asked, and to refer that back to them.
You're gonna refer her?
Yes, I'll refer to Dana
We'll get
at
an
FEMA.
update what happened next week.
Okay, great.
Thank you. Sir?
My name is Ron. I'm in the exact same situation as you guys. We moved here March 1st. We were encouraged to go apply for everything. FEMA, Red Cross, everything. They told us, go. We went. They told us, bye. Couldn't do a thing for us. Nothing. Red Cross couldn't help us. Nothing. We are staying inside a storage unit. So when all of these people talk about the long term, I understand that. We have to have a long-term plan. But what about right now? We got to have a short-term plan for her, for me, for all of us. Thank you.
Can I just show of hands, how many people are in a similar situation as the two people who have just spoken? There's a show of hands. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, at least 12 people here.
Okay, thank you.
Can we have a question on something, on another area that has not yet been touched?
Yes.
Not yet been touched?
Well, I'm Patty Jones. My one question is with regard to not the land swap, but something in that regard, if and when the county takes over. What happens to us in the equity of our homes? If our homes aren't burned and we have insurance, we get nothing. If you take our homes in eminent domain, will you pay us what they're valued at prior to your setting our values to zero? Because we may have loans out on our homes that we have to repay, or something like that. What guarantees us that peaceful transition for, I mean, we have all the money, we're retirees, we have every penny we've earned is in our homes. You know, what's going to happen to that? So, otherwise we'll be in the same boat as everybody else with no help from any agency.
It's an excellent question, and I've been wondering the same in terms of how they're going to, if we were to buy out or assign a value to do some kind of land swap or that sort of thing, what would we value those homes at? And I can't answer the question, but I would suggest, Robert, that maybe at the next meeting you want to have finance here, real property tax, Lisa and or Deanna. They are excellent with these types of questions, and they can really help inform.
Meantime, I'm happy to continue paying my taxes.
But your taxes are zero, right?
I'm happy that the county people are here and our representatives here, because would you go back to the map and point to that section of Leilani that doesn't have lava on it, that the white, just go back, yeah.
Exclusion
From the beginning, I thought, there are all these people, there's nothing happening here except for, we talked about the SO2, but that's not every day, and we're starting to monitor it. There's this whole chunk, and I don't understand why the county is not looking at that chunk to be different from the rest of Leilani, because here the houses are here, people are living in them, but you point to where, that white, doesn't anybody else want that to be a different kind of a thing going on? County, please.
Next person.
I'll answer that.
Okay.
You know, I wish it was that easy. Because if you look beyond where that point is, you're still susceptible to the events that are in that area. Looking at the historic events, 1955, 1960, we haven't even seen some of the hazards that were created from those events. So you guys, if this whole area, I point to, and the mayor's told me, don't look at the best, don't hope for the best, look at the worst case scenario. So I gotta look at that for you guys. So I look at Pu'o, 35 years, how much land did that thing cover? So if you guys don't have that in the back of your mind, that all this could be repaved in the next few years with new lava, then you're not looking at reality, okay? I'm concerned for health and safety first. The property comes after that. But those few nights that we had to evacuate people when the flows were breaking out from Fisher 8, that was too close.
You did a great job.
Somebody said, thank you. So that's the guys, we're pucker factor in the EOC. The guys on the ground, that's the guys risking their lives. Somebody said the other night, they can't sleep in their house because of that fear. I don't want to terrorize you folks, but that's what I'm looking at.
You're saying still at risk?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, that's what I wanted to know, what the county is thinking, thank you.
This is kind of a follow-up on this.
Some years ago, when Puna Geothermal was having air quality issues, there was a buyback of homes in the area. I don't know if the county bought them, but, and they based it on assessed value or something like that. Has there been any discussion of that kind of thing?
That program still exists, but this is a volcanic event. This isn't a PGV event.
So PGV did that?
No, the way that is, it's set up under the permit, and they, through their royalties they pay to Helco for the electricity they sell to Helco. 20% goes to OHA, 30% goes to the county, 50% goes to the state. And with our 30%, the county set up a relocation fund. And people could apply to that, and the rules of the fund were to have a permitted home within 1 mile of the PGV plant. That's what the rule says. The planning department was the agency that oversaw the relocation fund, and to date, I can't remember the exact number, but it's not a large number. 20 to 30 homes have been repurchased, but the county then resold those homes. Now,
Good deal.
no, and so what they had to pay per the rules was the market assessment plus 10%. What happened though, we went through the Great Recession, right? And a lot of people were sitting on properties that perhaps they couldn't pay their mortgage, and they came in and they also wanted to be part of the relocation program. The values had plummeted, and we're talking about assigning values, realistic values to these homes. So then when the county made an offer on them, they felt it was too low because we were in the middle of a zero real estate market at that point. Everything plummeted. So you have to be aware that when it says market value, that market value fluctuates, right? So can properties now participate in the relocation fund? It is still there, but it has to be a legitimate concern about living near the geothermal plant. Right now, the geothermal plant's shut down.
Yeah.
It's shut down, and there's no royalties being paid into that fund. But the fund still sits there, just so you know.
So we're gonna have two more questions. One back there.
We're in the voluntary portion without the internet. Thank you for saying that. But our mortgage, we still owe a mortgage on our house. And, it's what are the negotiation rates? Has anybody been able to negotiate with their bank now that we're valued at zero? And then what if we lose our homes, like you said, Thomas, like what if this does wipe us all out? Where do we stand there? What past history has been with the banks? Do they forgive them the loans? How does that work?
Yeah, I'm not sure we have a lot of past history on that one, but I just jump in there. I know, I don't know if you use Facebook, but on social media, I posted recently a post from an attorney named Molly Ward, who was giving out really good information on how to negotiate with your mortgage, because you can get relief on your mortgages in situations like this. I had an insurance forum where that information was passed out as well. So we have information in my office. If you would like to contact my office, 965-2712. My office is in Pahoa near the 7-Eleven, next to the 7-Eleven. And yeah, those are questions that I can direct you to people who can give you better answers.
Thank you.
Yeah.
One more question from Thomas, who was not asked one.
Hi, my name is Janet, and I wanted to address the issue of moving forward. We live on Victoria Street.
Louder.
We live on Victoria Street, and and we cannot get to our home at all. We decided to move forward with another family that cannot go back into Leilani. With that, we did purchase a piece of property. We pooled a tiny bit of money that we had and bought a piece of property that happens to be ag property. So part of one of the things that maybe you can look at, because I am working with the mayor's office on this, is one has to be a farmhouse and one has to be an ag shed. That causes some issues, and you have to fill out a lot of paperwork and show you can be a farmer and that you have all this knowledge. That would be a good place to start to get people on some of these 2 to 3 acre ag lands and be able to have 2 homes without all this craziness to get through all that paperwork. It's just a suggestion, because we know we can never go back to our home, and it is standing. We get 0 money from our insurance company. FEMA will give us 0. SBA will not give us a loan because our house is still there. And I have gone back every week, and it's still the same answer. But instead of waiting, because like you, we're senior citizens. Everything we own is in our house. We have nothing left. We begged, borrowed, and stole from our family and our friends. And like I said, we paid very little for the land. We're going to build it ourselves. But the county needs to help with, zoning and maybe not being so tight on all the restrictions, so that people can group together and maybe build their own food somewhere and do it now. I mean, we're going to be in a new home by Thanksgiving. That we look at those things and how people can get together and do it. You may not know your neighbor really well. We didn't know Michael. He lived across the street from us. He's our best friend now. And, we're going to do things together, but we have to, I really think as a group, look forward and not back. And that's my suggestion.
Thank you. Excellent suggestion. And I agree with you, and this is under discussion, of providing more flexibility in the code for rebuilding for Puna. So those are great suggestions. Thank you.
I want to thank both Eileen and Thomas for coming here. I think this is the beginning of a conversation. And I assume they'll come back again. And we'll get some other officials from